My hands trembled as I stared at the email notification on my phone. Your Ancestry DNA results are ready. A laugh bubbled up in my throat, just a silly little test, something I'd done on a whim after my sister kept pestering me about our family history. I tapped the screen, expecting to see a breakdown of Irish and German heritage, maybe a surprise sprinkle of something else. The page loaded, and my world shattered. No DNA matches found for paternal relatives. I blinked. That didn't make sense. My father had 3 brothers. My grandparents had been married for 50 years. There should have been something. I scrolled further, my pulse hammering. Then, at the bottom of the page, a single line of text. Possible alias detected in family records. Alias? I clicked. A grainy black and white mugshot filled the screen. A man in his early 20s, sharp cheekbones, cold eyes. The name beneath it wasn't my father's. It wasn't even close. James Donovan, wanted for armed robbery, identity fraud, and suspected involvement in the 1997 First National Bank heist. My breath left my lungs in a rush, because the man in that photo was my husband. The room spun. I gripped the edge of the kitchen counter, my knees threatening to buckle. No, that wasn't possible. We'd been married for 8 years. I knew him. The front door creaked open. "Hey, babe," came his voice. Warm, familiar, the same one that had whispered, "I love you," just this morning. I turned slowly. There he stood, my husband, Daniel Carter. Green eyes, that little scar above his eyebrow from a childhood accident he'd told me about. Except now I knew that scar, that name, that life was a lie. "You okay?" he asked, tilting his head. I forced a smile, my fingers tightening around my phone. "Yeah, just surprised by something." His gaze flicked to the screen. For a fraction of a second, his expression froze. Then he grinned, stepping closer. "What you looking at?" Every instinct screamed to run, but I held my ground, sliding the phone into my pocket. Nothing important. His smile didn't reach his eyes, and for the first time in our marriage, I realized I had no idea who I was looking at. Before I tell you what happened next, please take a second to hit the like button and subscribe. It really helps us grow. Now, back to the story. That night, I couldn't sleep. James, lay beside me, his breathing steady and deep. I stared at the ceiling, my mind racing. How could I have been so blind? For 8 years, I'd shared a bed with a man whose name wasn't real, whose past was a minefield of crimes I couldn't even comprehend. I slipped out of bed, careful not to wake him, and tiptoed to the living room. My laptop waited on the coffee table, its screen glowing faintly in the darkness. I opened it and typed his name, his real name, into the search bar. The results were staggering. Articles from decades ago detailed his crimes, the bank heist, the stolen identities, the trail of aliases he'd left behind. One headline screamed, "Fugitive James Donovan evades capture for over 20 years." My stomach churned. "What are you doing?" I froze. James, stood in the doorway, his silhouette framed by the dim hall light. His voice was calm, but there was a sharpness to it that made my skin crawl. "Couldn't sleep?" I said, forcing a casual tone. "Just catching up on emails." He stepped into the room, and I instinctively closed the laptop. His eyes narrowed. "Are you sure?" he asked, his tone unnervingly soft. I nodded, my heart pounding. "Yeah, just work stuff." He moved closer, and I fought the urge to shrink back. His gaze lingered on the laptop for a moment before he smiled, that same warm smile I'd fallen in love with. But now, it felt like a mask. "You know you can tell me anything, right?" He sat beside me, his grip just a little too tight. I nodded, my throat dry. "Good, because secrets can be dangerous." His words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. I forced a smile, but inside, I was screaming. The next morning, while he was in the shower, I grabbed my phone and scrolled through our financial records. Something had always felt off, small inconsistencies, unexplained deposits. But I'd brushed it aside as paranoia. Now I saw it clearly. Transactions under aliases I didn't recognize, offshore accounts, a life insurance policy taken out on me with a payout in the millions. My blood ran cold. I had to leave. But as I packed a bag, I heard the bathroom door open. Going somewhere? I froze, a pair of jeans clutched in my hands. He stood in the doorway, towel slung around his waist, his expression unreadable. "Just cleaning out some old clothes," I stammered. He nodded slowly, his eyes never leaving mine. "Good idea. Clutter's dangerous." Every word felt like a threat. I forced a smile. Right. But as he turned to leave, I saw it. The glint of something metallic tucked into the waistband of his towel. A gun. And in that moment, I knew. The man I'd married wasn't just a fugitive. He was a killer.